الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد أما بعد. Ramadan Mubarak came with all with blessings and left us. Each and every person, according to their own capacity, they have collected the good and the khair, whatever Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has decided for them. When we collect the khair and the ni'mah and the blessings in the month of Ramadan, especially this month, this Ramadan was very unique Ramadan in many ways. Being in lockdown, we are not able to come to masajid, but alhamdulillah, many of us, they made our homes, they turned our homes into masajid. We were praying all 5 salah in the house with the jamaat, and we were praying tarawih with jamaat and the tahajjud and tilawat and adhkar, and there are many things mashallah was going on almost each and every house. In this way, it was a unique Ramadan. You spend time with the family and you don't worry about the iftar. You're like used to be going here and there in dawat and with parties. You have gone all through this, but alhamdulillah, you have gained in this particular month. As I was talking to many friends, they were expressing themselves. This Ramadan we enjoyed like anything. I said, why? They said it's a completely different experience. Otherwise, every Ramadan, right after you finish your iftar, right after you finish your dinner, you have to rush, you have to run, you have to go to masjid, and if you late in the masjid, you cannot find the room, proper room in the masjid, inside the masjid. Otherwise, you pray outside the masjid. There were so many things, but they said this time after dinner, you don't have to rush anywhere. You are home. Now you get ready for Salatul Isha very nicely, peacefully, and then you pray with your family. Anyway, this Ramadan came and then left. MashaAllah, according to our capacity, all of us, we have collected much khair and benefit in this month of Ramadan. Now, the challenge is when we have the ni'mah, the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is in itself is a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the challenge of the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to protect it, to take it, to continue it. Acquiring something in itself is a blessing, but there will be more blessing, or you can say this blessing will complete only when you can protect these blessings outside the month of Ramadan Mubarak. This is called hifadat. This is called safeguarding the khair you have acquired in the month of Ramadan. And regarding this, what do you mean by safeguarding the khair? Quran Majid explains this. It's called taqwa. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. And what is taqwa? If you want to understand taqwa in simple words, the taqwa is to protect yourself from committing a sin. Safeguard yourself committing any sin. This is called taqwa. And this sin are 2 types of sin. Or you can say a person can commit a sin in 2 ways. Number 1, by breaking the hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, breaking the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number 2, by oppressing someone, not giving their due rights. These are the 2 ways. And when we look into deep, why people break the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why people go against the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and why people become injustice towards others, and why people do oppression to other people. There are 2 things. Then again, the two reasons. Number one, he wants to have better food. Better food means whatever it comes in your intake, you want to have better and better. And the second thing, the urge and the desire of your nafs, you want to fulfill it. These are the two things. Sometimes, like the urge comes and you do not have the halal means, you go towards haram. And the same thing, when you do not find the good food, you're looking for the good food. For the good food, you might break the hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You might break the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to fulfill your carnal desire, again, if you do not have the halal means, you may look for the other ones. Haram means that Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, through fasting, made it obligatory upon us. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala puts break on both of these two our desires. The desire of food and desire of fulfilling your carnal desire. Because of that, through this, we become muttaqi. This is called taqwa. To control yourself. You know what to eat, when to eat, what not to eat, when not to eat. In this month of Ramadan Mubarak, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Roza or through the fast, He trained us. And what are the goals of the fasting? One of the biggest goals of fasting is taqwa, and we have taqwa to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ultimate goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the goal, and we achieve this goal of fasting in the month of Ramadan by not eating halal food. Even though the fridge is full of food, fridge is full of the cold drink, water and everything, nobody is around, but you don't eat it. Why? Because it is haram to eat it at that time. It is haram to eat it. You wait so long. And when the time comes, when the time of iftar comes, the minute before, this food was haram for you, and after 1 minute, when the time of iftar comes, the same food was there, it becomes halal for you again. That in itself, this food is halal, but because of the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes haram, and right after iftar, the same food becomes halal again for you. This is that's how we follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the month of Ramadan. Every day we practice the same thing in suhoor. The minute before, the food was halal, and right after 1 minute, when the time of fasting starts, the same food becomes haram. And we follow this. That's how we train ourselves throughout the month. And what is the training? The training of following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to the time. That's what the training we did throughout the month. The whole month, every day, without a fail. We follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And among the goals of the fasting, that you become grateful to ni'mas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are hungry, and you want to eat but you cannot eat, you have the cold drink, you have juices around you but you cannot drink, and then right after iftar starts, you eat and drink. At that time you feel the rejoice, and then you realize the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we have every day. When you are not hungry, if you eat, you don't appreciate the food. If you are not thirsty, if you drink water, you do not appreciate the water or anything. This way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us some feeling. When you are hungry, when you are thirsty, and then you eat and you drink, then you say, Allah, thank you Allah, Alhamdulillah. Then you realize, like the dua of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر. The thirst has gone. وابتلت العروق. Like all my veins, they got water. And inshallah, the ajr of Allah, ajr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also there. وَثَبَتَ الْأَجْرُ inshallah ta'ala. Every day we become this. And then one of the goals of fasting was to sympathize with those people who are less fortunate, do not have enough means to eat, to drink. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for a short time of period, He says, stay hungry and stay thirsty, just to sympathize with those people, that you can realize how these people live every day without food. When they don't have food, they cannot afford food. That's how you sympathize with them. Now, since we have this and we learn about this, I want to quote a great scholar of subcontinent, Indo-Pak subcontinent, Sheikh Abu Hassan Ali al-Nadwi rahimahullah ta'ala. He writes, the month of Ramadan, this month of Ramadan was a training purpose, and it was a training course for you, the training Ramadan. He says, the real Ramadan starts for you after the month of Ramadan. The Ramadan we see, that was a practical, or you can say a practice of real Ramadan. The real Ramadan starts right after this Ramadan. In this practical Ramadan, halal food was prohibited, but the Ramadan starts right after Ramadan. In that Ramadan, halal food is not prohibited, only haram food is prohibited. Only haram food is prohibited. And the other difference is, in the practical Ramadan, you are allowed to eat the moments, like sunsets, you are allowed to eat. But in the month of Ramadan, after the month of Ramadan, the real month of Ramadan, this fast will continue. You're not allowed to break the fast until the angels comes and take the ruh from your body. And they say, Ya ayyatuha an-nafsul mutma'innah, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah. Until that time you have to fast. Being a Muslim, you have to fast. You have to fast from haram. From haram means from any type of haram. When we fasted in the month of Ramadan, we did not fast only the fast of our stomach. We fast our body, our a'dha, and our all limbs, they also fasted. Our hands, they were fasted, and our eyes, they were fasted. Our ears, they fasted. Our tongue also fasted. Through our tongue, we do not lie, we do not backbite, and we do not do other haram things using our tongue. And our eyes, we don't use our eyes while we're fasting in the month of Ramadan. We do not look at the haram thing. We're not supposed to look at it, and we don't go on those websites that we're not supposed to go. In the month of Ramadan Mubarak, we protected ourselves. We made sure that we don't go. And we don't use our hands to do any haram, to commit any haram through our hands. We don't use our feet to go and walk towards any haram. That was a practice during the month of Ramadan. And now that practice is, application starts right after Ramadan. And that application will continue all the way till our death, till we leave this world. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala give us this chance every year to practice this. Practice and then the real thing. Practice and then the real thing. Any game, any sports, you take it. When you see they're playing, for example, like basketball, when they play in the court, it feels like, like he's making shots from all over, like everywhere. But ask him, how many hours he had to practice for this. The same thing, we have to practice first and then you do the real. This is what Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala gives us one Ramadan. This way we practice how to follow the commands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and then we start practice after the month of Ramadan for these 11 months. Then again we get the month of Ramadan. Then we follow the first of Ramadan. About this, our batteries are charged so much, in the month of Ramadan. Why our batteries are charged full? Like you may have seen the brochure. It shows you one is less, right? It's a little bit less that you can see the batteries charge all the way, but just maybe at 20% down. That shows you that Ramadan has passed, and already we can see the level of ibadat we have, the urge we have in the month of Ramadan to read Quran, to make dua, to make the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pray tahajjud, and all these type of things already went down. That shows if we do not recharge ourselves or we do not recharge our batteries, then what will happen? That's what will happen. That battery will go down and then down and down. The battery started already draining. Like our cell phone. Even if you don't use it, the battery is going down. Battery is going down, even though it was fully charged, 100% charged. But if you don't use it, when you put it outside the charger, the battery will start draining. The same thing happens. The Ramadan Mubarak is a charger for the believer. We were charging ourselves. And when we charge, this charging should last at least for 11 months. Just like when we charge our phone for the time. For example, some people, they charge it for 24 hours. Some people, they charge it for maybe 2 days. Some people charge it for 3 days. It depends how much you use, you have a phone, how much you use your phone. It's just like that. This is the month of Ramadan Mubarak is a charger. And now we have to look ourselves. In the month of Ramadan Mubarak, what was the charging thing? What was charging our batteries? What we do not see outside the Ramadan. Everything, whatever we were doing in the month of Ramadan, it's available outside the month of Ramadan as well. For example, the biggest charger in the month of Ramadan would be reciting the Quran. Reciting the Quran. Or you say, engaging with the Quran. Engaging with the Quran. And this is one of the things, engaging with the Quran. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has mentioned, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan was the month that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala started revealing the Quran. In the month of Ramadan, we should not close the Quran the moment Ramadan is over. Because that was the beginning. Allah started revealing the Quran in the month of Ramadan. But then Quran continued revealing after Ramadan as well. But our practice is completely different. We start Quran in the month of Ramadan. As soon as Ramadan is over, we close the Quran. In the month of Ramadan Mubarak, when we recite Quran, when we interact with the Quran, Quran give us the boosting, Quran give us the charging, and when we read the Quran, Quran is the only thing we can get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the fastest way. The fastest ways you want to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the recitation of the Quran. And when we recite the Quran, Quran has so many rights upon us. The basic right of the Quran is to read Quran properly with tajweed. And Quran's tajweed, when we start talking about the tajweed of the Quran, it is very important that we need to understand, as non-Arabic speaking, we have to know there are certain letters we don't pronounce it properly. Why? Because this is not our language. When you speak it, for example, like you speak Urdu, you speak Punjabi, you speak Gujarati, you speak any other language other than Arabic, then these letters you don't have to be exact the way they're supposed to pronounce in Arabic. Tha and Sin and Sad, these three letters. When we say in Urdu, in any other language, no difference. S or C in English. There's no different way of pronouncing it. And Dhal, Za, Dad, and Va. These are the four letters. When you speak any other language than Arabic, you say all of them are same. No distinction between these letters. And I can go on and on giving you examples. But like in reality, if you look at this, don't have to get it, like worried too much. There's only 5 or 6 letters you need to focus. 5 or 6 letters you need to focus. Easy to learn tajweed. But it requires some effort. It requires some effort from us. For example, like when you say tha and sin, you have to learn whenever tha comes, you say tha. Sin comes, you say sin. The sad and dad, these are two also a problem. And dhal. Dhal is also a problem for non-Arabic speaking people. And ha and ha. Ha. And ain. And the qaf. Not many letters, right? Tha, dhal, and dad, dha, ain, ha, and qaf. It's about 6 or 7 letters. If you master these letters, then more than 50% tajweed you got it. That's why we have to make sure when we read Quran properly. Why? It comes in a riwayah. رُبَّ قَارِئٍ يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنَ وَالْقُرْآنُ يَلْعَنُهُ. There are people who recite Quran and Quran curse upon them. The Mufassirin, they explain how Quran curse, why Quran curse upon them. 2 reasons. One of the reasons, he does not read Quran properly. He does not read Quran with tajweed. He wants to say something, but he's saying something else. And the second thing, because he reads Quran, but he does not follow it. He does not practice the Quran. Because of that, Quran curse upon him. May Allah curse this person because he says this, but he does not follow. And then when you read Quran, the second right of the Quran is to understand Quran. Understand what Allah Ta'ala is saying. Because we consider ourselves the Hamil Quran, the one who has the Quran, but we are not Amil Quran. We do not practice Quran, and we are not Qari Quran. We do not even recite Quran. We recite Quran most of the time only in the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is gone. We are not even Qari Quran. And Quran should be our daily interaction. And you have to set aside a time. If you're too busy in your life, just have 20 minutes for Quran every day. 20 minutes. I hope, inshallah, everybody can find 20 minutes. But you have to make a commitment that 20 minutes, this is for Quran, and this is my time. Either after Fajr, either before you leave for work, or before you go to bed, whatever time. Make one time and then stick to it. The Quran. 20 minutes. And that in 20 minutes, you can recite 10 minutes, and then you can look at the translation 10 minutes, whatever it is. But 10-minute interaction with the Quran. This is the basic. We cannot go lower than this. And this is ruh, and this is basically a food for your ruh. Just like if you don't eat food, and if you continue fasting without breaking your fast, what will happen? You will not be able to function anymore. The same thing. There is a ruh. That ruh also need a food. And what is the food of our ruh? The Quran. And because of that, we see the energy in the month of Ramadan. Even though we are hungry, we are not eating, but we are energized. We're doing everything, like we are full to our capacity. Why? Because our ruh is alive. Our ruh is being fed. That's what it is. And once you stop reading Quran, once you stop interacting with the Quran on a daily basis, then you see your ruh is going back to, becoming weaker and weaker every time. That's the main source in the month of Ramadan for our energy is the Quran. And mashallah, we recite Quran, and we recite this time like you did Quran maybe in Taraweeh, in Tahajjud, on your own. Otherwise, you used to come and listen in Taraweeh every time. And mashallah, there are many people who listen to the Quran in Taraweeh and they read Quran on their own as well. There are people I know, mashallah, they come and they mention whatever we're supposed to read in Taraweeh, they read the same juz during the day. And some of them, mashallah, Allah give them tawfiq, that they read the translation as well. The translation of the whole juz, or sometimes whole juz and a quarter. There are people, if you commit yourself, then Allah will provide you chances. Allah will open up the doors for you. But if you say, I don't have time, I can't do it, then that's it. But you have to have courage and you have to make a plan. If you have a plan, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open up doors for you. And this was the main source in the month of Ramadan Mubarak, Quran. Interacting with the Quran every day, and this is the one we miss a most after month of Ramadan Mubarak. And what was the second source in the month of Ramadan? We have the energy, and we gain the energy, and we get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was fasting. And because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the fasting in the month of Ramadan, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the fasting outside the month of Ramadan. Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, whoever fasted in the month of Ramadan and 6 days in the month of Shawwal, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him as if he has fasted the whole year. The Mufassirin, they mention one of the hikmah behind the 6 fasts of Shawwal would be, like if you go by number game, one fast is equal to 10. Fasting the whole month, 30, it becomes 300. 30 multiplied by 10, 300. And 60, these 6. This is we understand. It's already mentioned in the hadith. But could be the hikmah behind it. One of the hikmahs mentioned. For the long break of the whole month, the shaitan is chained, locked up, and he is released the night of Eid. Even before the day of Eid, he is released. The last night of Ramadan Mubarak. The shaitan comes to human being with full force, and he had to make up all these things, like the whole month, that we were not making any sin, we're not committing any sin, we're not going towards, sin, and we are becoming more pious and more close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reading, reciting, making dua and making dhikr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All this, shaitan has to take revenge from us. That's why shaitan comes with the full force. And because of that, you may have seen many people, they break the real fast. The real fast means outside the month of Ramadan, when the real month of Ramadan starts. They break their fast the night of Eid. Oh, now Ramadan is over. I have been waiting. Now the Ramadan is over. Let me watch this. Let me go on this website. Let me do this. Let me do this. Because, they were waiting. Because in the month of Ramadan, they have some respect. They show some respect. It is also very good, mashallah. You can protect yourself. You can stay away from prohibited things for the whole month. Now, as soon as Ramadan over, Shaitan come with the full force and make you do it, the things you did not do during the month of Ramadan. Because of that, Prophet ﷺ mentioned, if you fast 6 days in the month of Shawwal, you still have some energy to fight with the shaitan. Because when you are fasting, you may have some respect for your time, just like you did respect the month of Ramadan Mubarak. And you did respect Ramadan Mubarak because of fasting. Now you're fasting in the month of Shawwal. The shaitan cannot force you the way he's supposed to. He's supposed to use his force. He will come with the same force, but alhamdulillah, you will have your shield. That is the fasting in the Shawwal. That shield gives you protection from the shaitan. And our pious predecessors, they have mentioned their experience. If you fast in the month of Shawwal, and if you can protect yourself, the energy, the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their spirituality, you gain in the month of Ramadan, if you can handle it properly, at least in the month of Shawwal, there is a hope and the possibility that you can continue in other months as well. Because right after Ramadan, urge becomes so furious. This is one of the hikmah behind the fasting 6 days of Shawwal. And the Prophet ﷺ gave us, on a decent level and a decent timing that you can fast if you want. If you can fast, if you are able to, you can fast twice every week. Monday and Thursdays, the Prophet ﷺ used to fast. Mondays and Thursdays. Sometimes you don't even feel if you have to go to work Mondays and Thursdays. You go to work, easy to fast on work. For some people, it's hard to fast on work. And but majority of the people, it's easy when you are at work. When you are home, it's hard to fast. Mondays and Thursdays, both days are working days, you can fast. Otherwise, if you can't go like this, at least do once a week. Mondays, Prophet ﷺ used to fast Mondays as well. Somebody asked Prophet, why you fast on Mondays? Prophet ﷺ said, that day I was born. I was born on Monday. This way, we learn. Prophet ﷺ used to celebrate his birthday every week. If somebody wants to celebrate birthday, go ahead. Prophet ﷺ has already showed how to celebrate your own birthday by fasting that day. And Prophet ﷺ used to fast 13th, 14th and the 15th of every lunar month. Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, Zilhijjah, like these months, Prophet ﷺ used to fast. If you cannot fast every Monday or Thursday, then you can fast at least 3 days a month. 3 days a month should be, inshallah, okay, easy. And it comes in a riwayah, Prophet ﷺ sometimes used to fast beginning of the 3 days of the month. It comes according to one riwayah, Prophet ﷺ used to fast last 10 days of the month of, lunar month. You can pick any one. But mostly Prophet ﷺ used to fast 13, 14 and 15. Now you have the same energy from the month of Ramadan Mubarak through fasting and through interacting with the Quran. And what else we were doing in the month of Ramadan? Istighfar. We were doing istighfar. We were making a lot of tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, please forgive us. Allah, please forgive us. In the dua of Shab Qadr, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught to say, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. O Allah, Allahumma innaka afuwun. O Allah, you are afu. You are the one who pardons. Tuhibbul afwa. And you love to pardon. Fa'afu anni, please forgive me. This is the dua Prophet ﷺ taught to say, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, and we need to continue making istighfar outside the month of Ramadan as well. Because istighfar is one of the things, it protects from punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world and the hereafter as well. And there are many benefits are mentioned of istighfar. You just have to say astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Keep saying it. And another thing we used to do in the month of Ramadan Mubarak, specifically, this is dua. Dua is a weapon of a believer. For anything, for everything. We should have a habit of making dua for everything. Smallest thing, you think, I don't need dua for this. You make dua. When you wake up in the morning, we recite dua, right? We wake up the dua. Duas of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we wake up, when we go to bathroom, when we come out of the bathroom, we start eating, we finish eating, when we're putting our clothes on, we are leaving home, everywhere, whatever you do, there is a dua from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the dua. This dua considered a dhikr. But this dua, when you need something, when you wake up in the morning, you make dua, oh Allah, Thank you, Allah, you gave me another day. Another day. Make this day useful for me, for this dunya and for the akhirah as well. Oh Allah, make this day better than yesterday. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day. And when you go to bed, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, please forgive me whatever I have done wrong in this day. Like you can make continue dua. You are constantly connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the goal. This should be the goal of a believer. Always connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Constantly talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you are talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even though you are asking for your own needs, this consider ibadah. Allah, please give me this. Allah, give me a house. Oh Allah, give me the good car. Oh Allah, give me the good grades. Oh Allah, give me the barakah in my life. Oh Allah, give me barakah in my children. Oh Allah, give barakah in my family. Like you are making so many things. Whatever you need, you are asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While you are asking, is considered ibadah. What else you need? The only thing is, we need to engage with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have a strong connection. It's a bond. Nowadays we talk about the Wi-Fi. In Ramadan Mubarak, we are connected through a wired, right? We are wired. We had a wired connection in the month of Ramadan. After Ramadan, we have to use our Wi-Fi. We have to use our Wi-Fi. It depends, how strong kind of signals you get in your Wi-Fi. Again, you can boost your Wi-Fi signals, right? We have so many boosters nowadays. And what is our boosters? The guy I mentioned. Quran and dhikr, istighfar, fasting, like 3 times in a month or every Monday, Thursday, whatever is easy. Try your best. At least try it. If you cannot fast every time, when you have summer days are longer, we cannot fast. But like in Michigan, mashallah, when winter comes, Allahu Akbar Kabira. So easy to fast. Even you want to fast, like almost every day. You wanted to fast every day. Start, fast starts 6:30 and you end up 5 o'clock, you're done. Right? You go up to 5 o'clock. Even if you take it 5:30. Even if you take 6:30. Imagine. What I'm saying is, at least in a good 5-6 months, you can easily fast in like in Michigan. And if you have your fast that you have to make up your fast, the winter time is the best time to fast. Easy. And nowadays, mashallah, everybody want to look slim and beautiful. The fast also gives this benefit as well. But anyway, there are things, mashallah, and we charge up ourselves with the wired, like connected. And after the month of Ramadan Barak, we should be connected with the Wi-Fi, and we need to boost our Wi-Fi signal with Quran, dhikr, and istighfar, and dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the few things I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us tawfiq that we can continue having the blessings of Ramadan Mubarak outside the month of Ramadan Mubarak as well. And we should be fasting, and we should be in the state of fasting. That means from prohibited thing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited to fast. Like we are fasting from prohibited things all the way till our death. When we die, we will be breaking our fast. Because of that, if you remember the hadith, when Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, there are 2 types of, like farhatan for the fasting person. He is a joyful time for him 2 times. One is breaking fast, like regular fast. And when he's breaking fast means when he's meeting his Lord, when he's meeting his Rabb. Because he was fasting throughout his life. Now he's breaking that fast. That means he's meeting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he can do whatever he wants. This is what Allah tabarak wa ta'ala has mentioned. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq to practice all this. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.